Hi, everyone, and welcome to July and July's first broadcast, falling on this first day of the month. Glad to have you with us. Hope your weekend went well. It was a warm one across the neighborhood. We've got temperatures that are going to stay into the 80s, but back off just a degree or two. But at the same time, shower chances are going to steadily increase to somewhat of a likelihood for Friday and Saturday for some of us. And of course, a lot of 4th of July plans scheduled for that time. So we'll give you the updated forecast. Not a great deal of changes, but certainly some tweaks since last Friday. A lot of news already in-house and to come later in the week. We've been covering these GPS stories now weekly for a while. I've got another one. Got an interview with a fella. He was literally going from Johnson County to Moorhead, and his GPS navigational unit turned him right onto Wilmay Branch off of Route 40, and he didn't make it out without assistance from the McGoffin County Rescue Squad. I'll take you to the scene. I'm not quite for certain what the problem is in this part of the world, but it is just not a situation. And who do you call? How do you call to GPS to get that situation remedied? Nevertheless, it's a story. I had a camera at the special needs party over the course of the weekend. Haven't even got to look at that video as of yet. We had a videographer attend that event, and I'm told it's going to make a wonderful story. And we need to thank a lot of folks for seeing that happen, and a host of other news and information. There was doesn't happen very often, but a two-vehicle accident involving two motorcycles. One person being airlifted. I've got some details just coming in, and I'll have them on my desk in just a few seconds for an update. We will have the rest of McGoffin County indictments returned last week, and also a report from the special meeting of the McGoffin County Fiscal Court this morning, but also it will take us to the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center, and we'll talk about the new program and new campus that will be housed in the rear of that facility very, very soon. Couple of things before we go anywhere else. I say this all the time, and maybe I do so without understanding as to the complete ramifications, but I'm not making the decisions. But there are two representatives, Bart Rowland from Tompkinsville and Brandon Reed from Hodgensville. They're both Republicans. Their party not necessarily part of the report, but nevertheless, they've pre-filed a bill to essentially give us an extra hour of darkness in the morning and the winter, and an extra hour of daylight in the evening. They have pre-filed a bill to, of course, change our daylight savings time. Now, there are 12 other states which have also done this, but none of that, as I understand, would take effect unless Congress passes a federal law that would allow all those others to be implemented. If this bill is passed here in Kentucky, Kentucky would be one of more than a dozen other states to have done so. Florida, I think, did this, making daylight savings time a permanent fixture of the calendar, if you will, and schedule a couple of years ago. Several others have, including neighboring Tennessee and now Kentucky. If this bill were to pass, just pre-filed at this point, were to do so, would become the latest. If you're traveling on vacation, and it's that time of year for a lot of folks, and you're going through Tennessee, well, starting today, there's a new law in effect, and you cannot be holding a phone if you're driving. That's right, it's a hands-free law that began today, so you're not allowed to even hold a cell phone, or mobile device for that matter, with any part of your body, your hand against your chin, what have you. No text can be sent. No, of course, watching videos, recording anything on your phone, having it in your hand in any form or fashion is now illegal in the state of Tennessee. I suspect other states are going to follow suit with that as well. In neighboring Breathitt County, a man has been indicted there. A man whose daughter, a little 12-year-old girl, was killed in an auto accident. He was actually the end of December of last year when the accident took place, but the man in question, Mark Robinson, was behind the wheel of the vehicle. He lost control, and the vehicle rolled over and plummeted over some 50 feet over an embankment. The little girl, Harley Robinson, was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The father, too, was airlifted from the scene, but he survived and has since been indicted for the death of his daughter, facing, I believe it was, reckless homicide charges initially against him back on May the 6th. That brings us to McGoffin County indictments, a small number of which I reported last week, but the remainder on tonight's program, beginning with the first four, which are all related to the same case. The first four indictments all related to the same case and officer. Zach Haney of the Kentucky State Police presented before the grand jury the case of a Whitney Lowe who was indicted for trafficking in methamphetamine, trafficking in heroin, and possession of drug paraphernalia. She, as well as several others, on December the 18th of last year, were found to be in possession of methamphetamine and heroin with the intent to traffic. She was indicted as such also for the possession of drug paraphernalia, but also three other individuals indicted for similar charges and the similar case. Linda Ratliff of Elkhorn City indicted for trafficking in methamphetamine, trafficking in heroin, as well as possession of drug paraphernalia. The third individual was William Cantrell of Elkhorn City. He faces several other charges, but per the same investigation, trafficking in meth, trafficking in heroin, possession of paraphernalia. He was the driver of the vehicle that was stopped and charged with DUI, no registration receipt, and failure to produce an insurance card. This after a traffic stop here in the city of Sagersville. I think also part of that traffic stop was Officer Mike Nichols with the Sagersville Police Department. And another individual, a fourth individual in that vehicle, Jesse Thacker of Pikeville, too found himself named in indictments for trafficking in methamphetamine, trafficking in heroin, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Moving on, 59-year-old Randall Roy Howard of Sagersville was indicted for DUI, but it was a felony DUI fourth offense charge after being stopped for being under the influence behind the wheel and having 3 prior DUI cases in Magoffin County since 2009. He was also indicted for possession of an open alcoholic beverage container, no registration plates or receipt, failure to produce an insurance card, and failure to wear a seatbelt. 26-year-old Stephen A. Sparks of Sagersville was indicted for possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia per a case presented by Officer Haney, again with the Kentucky State Police. 55-year-old Bridget Miller, seen here in a mugshot taken at the Big Sandy Jail from 2013, but Miller of Georgetown was indicted for assault in the second degree for assaulting her aunt, a Magoffin County resident or a person in Magoffin County at the time of the assault. That case brought before the grand jury by Deputy Reggie Gosser of the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department. Margaret A. Wright, 36, of Sagersville, was named in a 6-count indictment. Wright has actually been lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center since April the 12th. That was a separate and unrelated case and story that we covered, in which she was charged with custodial interference, being under the influence of drugs and in possession of a child or having a child in her custody, no insurance, possession of a controlled substance, and improper container charges. However, the indictment goes back to a separate incident that took place January the 7th of this year, for which she was indicted for being in possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, that drug unspecified at this time. However, as well, possession of meth in the first degree, possession of another drug unspecified in the third degree, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a prescription not in its original container, all related to the same events on January the 7th of this year. Brady Helton, 29, of Sagersville, is named in a multi-count indictment, a total of 13 counts, a story that we previously covered here on the show and in the Independent. But according to Deputy Neil Adams, he is indicted with 4, fleeing and evading police in the first degree, that's a motor vehicle, fleeing and evading police in the first degree on foot, 2 counts of wanton endangerment in the first degree of a police officer, 3 counts of wanton endangerment in the first degree for other individuals, criminal mischief in the first degree, possession of a controlled substance in the second, possession in the third, operating on a suspended license, criminal trespassing, and reckless driving. It was for eluding the officers, running from the officers, striking an officer's vehicle, and causing potentially deathly injury to several police officers and individuals in the process. This goes back to events on or around March the 14th of this year, just a couple of months ago. And lastly, in addition to those that I had last week, 50-year-old Roy Gibson of Sagersville was indicted for assault in the second degree and violation of an EPO. The assault charge comes for causing physical injury to another person, a female, of which had an active EPO or DVO against Gibson, preventing him from being in her proximity or same area. Once again, Gibson indicted for assault in the second and that EPO violation. The case brought before the grand jury by Mike Nichols of the Sagersville PD. I'll be right back after these messages. Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold, and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville.
Jerry Pelfrey Fire is conveniently located off of US 23 in Paintsville, Kentucky. Give them a call at 606-367-5569 or look them up on Facebook for all of your fire needs.
Founded in 1974 on the idea that we all deserve and need the very best in medical services and patient-oriented care, but at reasonable prices we can afford, Big Sandy Healthcare and Hope Family Medical Center have also put together a team of professionals and providers, all at one location, all with you and your family in mind. With pharmacy, dental, lab and x-ray, pediatrics, adult medicine, behavioral health, and more. Come see us for anything at Hope Family Medical Center in Sayersville. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sayersville. 349-8785. If you haven't stopped by the seasonal shop lately, you're missing out. They've got new arrivals weekly and great deals every day, and the entire store has a fresh new look. Summer's here and the seasonal shop is ready for fun, sun, and the cutest clothes. They've got outfits for any special occasion you might have on your calendar or casual outfits for any day of the week. So come in and let them help you select the perfect outfit, and don't forget the jewelry. They've got a large selection of some of the most unique jewelry in the area, and they've got everything you need for your pool or beach days with bright, beautiful cover-ups and caftans, sunglasses, towels, and hats. And new patchwork Kentucky hats with a heart over Sagersville are the perfect way to keep the sun off your face at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop. Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to ConleyTire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by for huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. Shuffling things around just a bit. Next report in a few moments will come from the McGoffin County Fiscal Court and the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. However, I did just get an update on a motorcycle accident that happened on Route 378 earlier this afternoon, right around the 4 o'clock hour when it was reported. And I do not have any specific details except the following. Now, from what I understand, and I can never recall reporting a motorcycle accident like this in my 20 years, but this was a T-bone related accident between two motorcycles, one traveling on 378, the direction of which unknown at this time, but when another motorcycle was pulling onto 378 and in front of that motorcycle, and the two collided in a T-bone fashion. Now, both riders, I believe, were seriously injured, one being life-flighted at last report. The helicopter was on the ground right at around 5:30 or so, or shortly before going to the Pikeville Medical Center with the injured party, which had serious injuries, internal and to extremities as well. I'm unknown male, female name, any other details at this time, as it's still a fluid situation at this moment. We'll have a report and hopefully some information from the scene when I see you back here on tomorrow's program. So with that, before we get to our next headline that we have tonight, here's tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar and a couple of birthdays. I think these folks, yep, a couple of birthdays tonight. Once again, from the McGoffin Farm Bureau agent in McGoffin County, Doug Green. 5:30 till 7:30. And our calendar is here for you each and every weeknight. If you have a birthday, anniversary, or special announcement, this is where you want to see it. Of course, you can always get guaranteed great deals this time of year on mowers and weed eaters and blowers, but right now at Parkway Gun and Pawn, they've also got an incredible selection of hand and power tools, guitars, and musical instruments just in, new and used, long and handguns, and ammunition and more, with no pawn limits and cash today on anything you want to sell or pawn. Parkway Gun and Pawn.
I'm Bill Tinker. I've spent the past 19 years defending insurance companies in car crashes, truck crashes, and slip and falls. Are you involved in a case like that? Is the insurance company giving you the runaround about your medical bills, your benefits, or your lost wages? Contact me at McFarland Tinker Law Office. With our combined experience of over 58 years, we're here ready to work for you.
Appalachian Wireless wants to know if you're tired of settling for a phone you didn't really want because it was more about the cost of the device rather than the phone you really wanted. Well, Appalachian Wireless has the solution, and it's called the Appalachian Advantage. With Advantage, every phone model is back on the table because you only have to pay the taxes on the device you really want. Many of our hottest smartphones are less than $50 up front, then a few extra dollars on your monthly bill. With Appalachian Advantage. Payment agreement is required. See store for complete details.
Your new IGA has fresh brewed coffees and delicious donuts made 7 days a week. Daily made breads piled high with any meat or cheese you can think of. And come and taste the salads, broccoli and cauliflower, cornbread, and their gourmet chicken salad made fresh right here. They've got fruit and vegetable and meat trays made with a little love, and celebrate anything with perfectly professionally made cakes. All fresh and ready for your next meal, party, or event at your Sayersville IGA, where it's a new day, place, and way to shop. We've got another special deal for you this week at your Sayersville Lee's Famous Recipe. Clip this coupon out of the Sayersville Independent, bring it with you, or you can get one at your Sayersville Lee's, and you'll get half off your second fabulous fish dinner. That's right, buy one, and with this coupon out of the Sayersville Independent, get the second fish dinner at your Sayersville Lee's half off. A plate full of our tastiest fish, Hush Puppies, coleslaw, and potato wedges. Buy one, get one half off with a coupon at your Sayersville Lee's. At Sayersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sayersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sayersville National. The McGoffin County Fiscal Court met in a special session this morning. A couple of main items on the agenda. Insurance for county employees, which we'll talk about in a later report when I have a little more time. But tonight it was an agreement established between the Fiscal Court and County and the Big Sandy Community and Technical College and Skills U. They are going to be keeping the Adult Education Center here in McGoffin County, as the judge told us on the program just in brief at that time. And as well, and now having a facility for the adult education, we're going to have ongoing college classes continue here in McGoffin County as well. No longer at the old Sayersville Grade School location, but they have a new site with hopes of expanding the local curriculum in their new space in the back of the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. The judge and fiscal court inked the memorandum of agreement with the Big Sandy College and Skills U in this morning's meeting.
Yeah, so let's speed the process up. I know you want to get in by the 1st of August.
Yeah, if we can.
So we want to try to move that. This is, I think, a great thing for our community, not only to help those that need that adult education to get their GED, but it gives us a presence of higher education right here in Sayersville, something that we don't have right now. We want to put some signage up. We want people to know that we've got the community college here. I think we can work with the state, get some of those signs up, pointing coming downtown to our community college, our portion of it. I just think this is a win-win all the way around. I know from the standpoint of the agreement, the Skills U will be helping with some of the operational utility costs and those kind of things. So there's just not a downside to this, in my opinion.
Skills U will move into its new space and be operational. Plans are by the 1st of August. That gives them 4 weeks to get a fresh coat of paint on and do some additional preparation in what was last used several years ago as a daycare center in this portion of the back of the community center. The director of the Skills U program calls this a wonderful space and a wonderful opportunity for the program, but more importantly, people from Magoffin County who utilize it.
Adult education is, used to be adult education literacy. Now it's called Skills U. So if you see that sign around town for Skills U, that means that's where the GED classes are, as well as other classes that we offered in adult ed. So we're really excited to be in Magoffin County. We have ongoing classes, been here for years and years. Classes are currently being held behind the Board of Education in Salyersville, with hopes of maybe moving that center to be more accessible for your residents.
As he's referred to here on the program and in the Salyersville Independent prior to this, Judge Executive Matt Wireman said this portion of the community center had essentially been used as storage for years, but with a lot of cleaning and preparation, they realized the value of an incredible space. And speaking of spaces, that cleanup was part of a facelift for the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center. And how's this for taking you back a bit? We were all sharing some fond memories from a long time ago after seeing this floor, the original floor of the community center, unearthed, if you will. The rubber floor still in incredible shape. Of course, the paint has long since faded, and there are remnants of the new floor that have been placed on, which has since been removed, with the judge saying that they are going to repaint the floor, keeping a lot of the original aesthetics, and also that a lot of work is going to be done to the community center. New ceiling tiles where needed, new LED lighting, and maybe a new color scheme.
So we've got back down to the original floor. It's a rubber top floor for those folks that remember when it was before it got covered up. But we've got some folks looking at it, kind of give us an idea what it's going to cost to paint the floor. We also are looking at painting the entire gymnasium and working on the lighting and drop ceiling and all that. We've already had the roof inspected. As you may have watched in prior fiscal court meetings, the HVAC went out for the gymnasium section, and we've got some cost severance money to fix that. That's supposed to happen this week. Let's hope it does. It's kind of warm in here right now.
With that said, a forecast that has, sad to say, increasing shower chances steadily through the rest of the week and into your 4th of July Independence Day weekend. Here's the latest from Licking Valley RECC and the National Weather Service. Yeah, not the pattern you're hoping for the upcoming holiday weekend. Of course, some folks getting a day off this week. Some folks may be getting 2, depending on how your work schedule falls. Here's how it's going to play out, though. As of right now, we don't see much of an opportunity for change. But it's Kentucky. Forecast certainly always does and could. 69 degrees tonight for your low. Patchy fog, partly cloudy. Nothing really on our radar nor expected to be shower-wise tonight. And temperatures, as I said, are going to back off just a bit. Tomorrow, not so much. 87, but not 89 to 90. 68, mostly sunny. We'll have a 30% chance of showers pretty much across the board tomorrow, anytime after 10 o'clock in the morning. Into your Wednesday, shower chances edge up to 50%, partly sunny, and temperatures hold on to right around 85, 86 degrees. Shower chances for your 4th of July Thursday, Independence Day, partly sunny, 40%. So on the 4th itself, not a terrible chance of showers and storms, but to the tune of 40%, essentially after 10 o'clock that morning. After we start to get into the latter morning and afternoon, we'll have that threat across the day. Friday, we will see chances increase, and like I said, here's the inconvenience of the forecast and your calendar. Friday and Saturday, a lot of 4th of July festivities, and a lot of folks will need to keep an eye on that, maybe keep an umbrella handy, because we've got a 60% chance of storms. That makes it technically a likelihood that you will see some at some degree. Friday, mainly between 11 and 4, but maybe thereafter as well. Temperatures right around 85 for daytime highs. Saturday, pretty much the same. Another 60% threat, mainly in the afternoon, partly sunny, right around the mid-80 mark again. Sunday, we're still holding on to a 50% shot, partly sunny, 84. Monday of next week, partly sunny, 83. And shower chances start to decrease a little more. And once again, a lot of news already on tap. I do have an update, or will have more information for you on tomorrow in regards to that two motorcycle accident. I've got a couple of great reports that I referred to, and some other news that we're set to do the rest of this week. So please don't miss an episode. You will miss something here locally if you do. For now, thank you for watching, and have a good night.